What up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Lifestyle Academy podcast. My name is Martin Garden, and I am here with Joël Happé. If you are Dutch, you might know him from Po News and PoNet on YouTube and stuff, because he's been on there as a crypto expert. And I'm also here with Alex, and he is also an entrepreneur doing a lot of stuff with video editing and shooting videos. And we are going to talk about their life stories and how they became successful in their fields. And we are just gonna have a little bit of a banter, I think. So this is a new podcast that I'm doing to try to get my viewers more into the world of entrepreneurship, and also to connect you guys with people that I know that have interesting stories to tell, so that can inspire you, hopefully, and motivate you to go for your own dreams and reach your own goals in life. Because I think having good role models is really important, especially in 2022, where social media is kind of taking over and there are a lot of false prophets and all of that stuff. So here's some genuine conversation. These guys are actually also pretty good friends of mine in real life. So if you have the idea that we are friends in real life, well, that's because we are. Anyway, let's start with you, Joël. I want you to tell everybody, who are you and what do you do, but tell it in just 1 minute.
Yes, so my name is Joël Happé. I'm nowadays a specialist in cryptocurrency trading, especially on the Bitcoin US dollar pair. And that's what I basically do for a living. And also, I give a lot of presentations and lectures about how to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And yeah, that's basically what I do.
Okay, so you usually do leverage trading, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I trade the perpetual swap on Bybit. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's only Bitcoin versus the dollar.
Yes.
So no altcoins, no shitcoins, no doggy coins.
Now, I'm not really fond of the altcoins, but I also do Ethereum, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, then, Alex, it is your turn to tell the audience, who are you and what do you do? And keep it short.
All right. To keep it short, I'm Alexander Eijzinga. I'm an entrepreneur. I started with doing, after finishing my studies at university, I did an animated video business and grew that slowly, learning more about entrepreneurship, how to get clients, everything, stuff like that. And I slowly moved into doing more real video, but also marketing in general, doing advertising campaigns for companies, doing more social media stuff, everything, all that kind of stuff. And so that's where I've ended up right now. I do a lot of that, so advertising campaigns, a lot of video, photography. I really look for that mix between analytics, analytical thinking, and but also psychology and also the creative part. And I try to combine these things into what I do for my business. So
okay.
That's me.
So you're a business owner. You do video jobs for companies. Mm-hmm. And how do you get your clients? Do you reach out to them yourself, or do they come to you? How does that process work?
Well, right, it's honestly just through network most of the time. Right now, for the last actually 1.5 years, I've been working with someone who is very good at finding clients in his industry, which is a lot of cloud and hosting stuff. You know, the IT cloud hosting industry. And he's been getting me a lot of great jobs. So that's also been a really successful partnership. And well, stuff like that, but also just through, I don't know, network. Network. People are like, oh, I need this campaign, or I need some photos for this, or some video for that. And it's just, oh yeah, you do that, right? I saw a video by you. I heard from actually also through Joël a lot of people. Joël has a great network in Amsterdam where I've moved, and Stuff
so
like that.
most of it is kind of like network effect.
Yes,
that you
right
just
now it
ask
is.
people
Yeah.
that you already know. So an entrepreneurial circle. So a lot of entrepreneurs also have mastermind groups, for example. So this is for the listener. So if you join a mastermind group, you like get inside of a circle with like usually 50 people or something that have very specific skills. So yeah. If entrepreneurs say invest in yourself, they usually mean join a mastermind or find a mentor or something like that. So what I think is really interesting here is that you, Alex, actually have clients and you need people. You actually have to do work in the real world and stuff. And you, Joel, you just have the charts and you don't really... Well, you don't have to speak to a lot of people, I think. But I'm curious, like, is that something... do you think that what you do, Joel, is something that everybody should do? Is it for everybody, or is it also really lonely? And do you ever run into, the feeling that you want to work with people more because you look at screens all day?
I know exactly what you're getting at, but I think it could be both a blessing and a curse. But for me personally, it really is a blessing. I'm a social guy, I'd say, but I find it hard to work together with other people because I always want to do everything my own way. So I also know from experience that I'm not the most easy person to work with. So for me, it's really a blessing that I don't have to manage any personnel or... that's for me it works. And sometimes people ask, like, isn't it lonely to work by yourself?
Yeah.
I've experienced it both ways, and I like it this way. But what I also like in my free time, I spend a lot of time with really good friends. So that's how I keep this balance.
Yeah. Okay. So you just have a good personal life.
Yes, I think that's also important to keep your
Okay. And the same question actually for you, Alex, but the other way around. Are you ever tired of having to network so much and hustle so hard just to get assignments? Would you rather have a job more like sitting, behind your computer looking at screens or stuff, or is this actually your preference?
No, well, for me it's a bit different. I do really just love being able to focus on my work, but if I work on videos, I do work with other people. Who, for example, assist me with making sure people don't say crazy stuff, they follow scripts and such. So I do work with people in that regard. But most of the time, I do really like working by myself in my room. Because for me, the social part and the work part, my brain splits those. So when I have I've tried this, when I have a lot of colleagues around me, it's almost annoying to have to be social when I'm fully focused on work, and vice versa. When somebody starts really asking me deep questions about work stuff when I'm just trying to be social, it's often tough for me. So for me, being able to work from home in my kind of situation and being able to split those things is perfect.
Okay, fair enough. So I have a little short question here, and then I have kind of like a big question here. The short question is, can you live off of the money that you earn from your entrepreneurial adventures? So no details. It's just, is it actually a replacement for a regular 9 to 5? Is it enough? It's just a yes or no question.
Okay. Yes. But I do want to mention that it wasn't that way a couple of years ago, but now it definitely is.
Okay, so it took some work.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Now it's possible. For
yeah.
So
I
it's
had to learn
stable
a lot.
for you.
Yeah.
And for you, Joel, it's just a yes or no question. This one.
Yes, for me it also is plenty enough to pass by, to live by. But it also hasn't been the same from the get-go, of course. It took multiple years actually to get to this level.
Yes, okay. And I can speak like from my own experience that was also the case with my own adventures. But now the real question, why are you doing this? Like, what is your drive to be on your own and like have no boss and be an entrepreneur? What's your drive? Like, what's the emotion there? What's the story? Starting with Joel.
Yeah, for me, it's just that I like to do things my own way. And what I also recognized also from other people's stories, that work is also a lot of politics. If you work at the office, a company,
Okay.
you have to please your managers. And yeah, that's not my job that I like, probably. So yeah, and I always had this urge to be self-sufficient. I think that's really important. I didn't grow up particularly rich at all, not at all. Yeah, I had everything I needed, but my mom worked really hard for this. Single mom. Yeah, so I didn't have. I didn't have a bad youth or something, but we were never rich, and I always had this feeling like it would be nice to have a little bit more money to spend. So that's also what motivated me to make it big.
Okay, so also seeing your mom struggle a bit.
Yeah, I also want to help her. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is kind of like a sign of the times. There are a lot of single moms out there right now. We have a lot of inflation. The society is kind of crumbling. There's war. Stocks are going down. Crypto is going up actually today, but it was going down for a long time. And there were a lot of money problems. There still are. So I think that's kind of cool that your story embodies those modern problems actually. And I think it's really cool of you that you want to help your mom with that. But why do you have to become an entrepreneur to do that? And why is it not possible with a regular job? Can't you earn enough money with a regular job? Why is it the entrepreneurial field that makes you able to do that instead of regular work?
It doesn't feel efficient to work for someone else because in the end, the other person earns the most probably.
Okay.
And you are just one small part in this. But being an entrepreneur, of course, takes more risk.
Yeah.
Because you also have less security of your income. But what I recognized at a relatively young age, I guess, is that if you really want to make it big, you should start something for yourself probably. Because if you're going to work for your boss, a 9-to-5 job, you pay a lot of taxes over this. I don't think you get there. Not where I wanted to get, basically.
Yeah, so that's also kind of due to capitalism and the nature of capitalism. Like a boss just hires employees and pays them a little bit of the revenue, etc. So I think you're right on the money there. And for Alex, the state of the world in 2022 is pretty hardcore. Do you also have things that are like really about self-sufficiency, about the state of the world that made you become an entrepreneur, and why did you choose this life instead of getting a regular job? What attracted you to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, when I came out of university, I first did start looking for a job, and that's actually, stupid as it sounds, the first time I figured out that really was not going to be what I'm made for.
And why?
Well, the why of that is two things. It's maybe it's cliche. I don't know. I really love freedom. Really love making sure, not even freedom as in being able to just do whatever I want at any moment, but the freedom to choose my own responsibilities and the times at which I want to fulfill them, because we all have those. We all have to do something in this world to make ourselves useful. But I wanted to make sure that I was in a situation where I decided when I was going to do that. And that's very important for me. And also I really, I'm very motivated when my fate is in my own hands in a way. So obviously that's not always perfectly the case, but I do really like it when I work harder or do something smarter or whatever, or solve a problem better, that it is my reward.
Yeah.
And not just like maybe an increase in pay of a few percent at the end of the year, you know? And also the reward that I know that if I make a stupid mistake, it's my problem. You know, that's also very motivating. Yeah, exactly. And those are things that really work for me. And it's always, I mean, some people, well, most people prefer the safety of a job, right? If you mess up, it's also not really, it's kind of your problem. You might get reprimanded or something, but it's not that big on that much of trouble for you. And it's way more of a problem for me if I mess up. But yeah, I prefer that. I prefer that model. So that's why I started working for myself as both an entrepreneur
Yeah.
and a freelancer. In that kind of model, I just prefer that. Working
Yeah.
like that is more motivating.
Yeah, I gotcha. Because I also think that like having a regular job is not necessarily safe. People think it's safe, but yeah, when businesses have to like fire people because there's a crisis or Putin gets throws anger. Yeah, what? Wait. If Putin gets angry and throws a temper tantrum, there you go, then, businesses have to fire people again to like, keep their revenue up and to not go bankrupt, I guess. So it's not that safe. And maybe your pension is not safe, or there will be a bank run, or the fiat currencies like dollar and euro will go down. That's actually why I like crypto a lot, because it's like macro economy stuff. And also, if you have like a hardware wallet or whatever, you are very self-sufficient because you can just take that thing anywhere. It's borderless. And even if there is war, it doesn't really matter. If I go to another country now with Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, on my hardware wallet, I can just sell it over there for the local currency and actually start living there. And it's like no problem, And even the Swiss banks now are having trouble. The euro and the dollar are having trouble. I think hyperinflation is on the way. People can't really pay their energy bills anymore here in the Netherlands. And yeah, probably also other places on the planet where that's a problem. Buying houses is hardcore. There are a lot of people becoming homeless and stuff. And I think it's pretty clear right now that it's not that safe to have a safe job.
I actually agree. Even if I did have a job right now, I'd still make sure I have what's called a side hustle, an extra income stream to because it's like you say, these are kind of weird times, very unpredictable. And I think, even with a job, you need to make sure you have a backup.
Yeah, and then that's like a pretty American thing to say, because Dutch people never really said, I want to have a side hustle, because it wasn't necessary in Dutch culture. But yeah, I think now we can actually see that the Netherlands is also becoming a bit less rich, and people are starting to become a bit more American. And they all have kind of like have a side hustle going on. You wanted to say something, Joel?
Yeah, I agree with what you say. By the way, I meant by having a job, the security it provides is that, maybe I phrased it wrong, but I meant that you are sure what paycheck you get at the end of the month. And in the field that I work in, it always varies, I'm not sure what I get at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a security that you lack in that regard. But I completely agree with you about the situation nowadays. And a lot of, for the past couple of years, a lot of people have been living with plenty of resources around them, a lot of safety. And now that gets swept from their feet. And now they see that they need to maybe get into self-sufficiency to survive. And also the point about having your digital assets is really strong, because you don't need to ask permission to anyone to transfer that money, the crypto money.
Yeah.
And you can take it through borders, indeed. So it can't be confiscated that easily by a government, for example, in a war.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and it's like not easy to fraud with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
So the mining and stuff, it just makes things really safe, especially in Bitcoin's case, because it's fully decentralized. But also what I am noticing is that people are becoming more self-reliant, and there's more accountability also in terms of health. So because of the whole COVID pandemic going on, and food shortages and inflation, people are starting to go to the gym on their own. They're starting to take care of their health more. They're starting to lose weight more. Also because they're kind of scared, for like new diseases and everything. And also because they witnessed a pandemic, obviously. But it's kind of weird. We are living in a world where there's war, but there's also still, some people are like, it's all good. It will be over tomorrow, But I don't think it will be over tomorrow. I think this will actually lead to systematic changes. So I think there will be a new normal where people are more they take on more accountability, and they prevent having to go to the doctor instead of going there and being like, hey, I'm sick, give me a pill, la la la. And I also think that entrepreneurship is kind of like that. So people just want some more money in the bank or whatever. A lot of people are busy with investing right now. It's also easy to do that because everybody has like a freaking smartphone in their pocket. So you don't have to go to Wall Street and call anymore, like sell my stock. And the world is changing. My question is, do you guys think that the world is changing for the better or for the worse? Is this a good development or is this a bad development? And is technology, a good thing or a bad thing? It's kind of what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think it's really good direction the world is heading in terms of technological improvement.
Yeah.
Because there's much more information available for everyone. So basically the internet democratized the people more, and the information democracy, I mean. Mm-hmm. And also the point you bring up about having this information about the stock market, for example, back in the day, you couldn't open a chart and had all this information. So there's much more information available for the people so they can make their decisions for themselves and educate themselves. Because, for example, nowadays, you don't need to go to a university anymore, in my opinion. It's, of course, a good idea to do that and to pursue a study that you fancy. But you could also... On YouTube, there are probably 10 YouTube channels that we can name that have much more educational content than you ever get in your studies.
Yeah.
So you could educate yourself from your home nowadays. And that could only be seen as a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, e-learning is becoming really big.
Yeah, it also makes it more available for everyone. It's not that expensive anymore, or it doesn't need to be that expensive.
It doesn't need to be. Yeah, but buy my course for 10,000 euros, okay? Okay, so Alex, what do you think about the development of the world? Is it a good thing, bad thing, and technology, the part of it? And, what's your opinion?
Well, two things I'm really looking at right now is that there's a lot of talk, if you know where to look, but there's a lot of talk within governments about programmable CBDCs and digital IDs and stuff like that.
What's a CBDC for the public, for the audience that doesn't
Central
know?
bank digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just it's digital money, basically, very simple.
Fiat on a blockchain.
Yeah, basically. And from my perspective, it can go both ways. One way is that it goes like more of the Bitcoin way. So in both cases, it would be centralized. So that's different from, for example, Bitcoin, which is decentralized. But these would be like central bank. I mean, the word central is already in there. It would be centralized. But if that happens, it can go to one of two ways. One is centralized. The other is one is more rigid, like Bitcoin, and the other is more like Ethereum, so it would be programmable. But that would give a lot of power to the people who control that, and obviously that can be used for good, but also for bad causes. Very much controlling of what you eat, right, or what you buy in general, or when you buy it, or stuff like that. And I think that the people who are in favor of that they see a lot of benefit in that, but I think in general, I'm not very fond of it because I want to be free to make my own choices, and I think that in general, that's more healthy. But this is an example of something that can go multiple ways. I find it very hard to predict what will happen, but I'm certainly looking at various scenarios and preparing for everything. Because I don't think, I honestly don't believe that the future is very predictable, and I think it's thinking in scenarios and preparing for those is a smarter option than making one bet and going fully for that.
Okay.
So
spread your assets.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this advancement in technology is actually indeed sometimes not beneficial for the privacy purposes of people. Because back in the day, for example, here in the Netherlands, cash money used to be a thing, but nowadays in the Netherlands it's hard to even get cash money. So the banks collect more and more information about where you spend your money, how you spend it. And if you look at central bank issued digital currencies, they could, for example, only allow you to spend it at certain places or reverse transactions if they don't agree with your transactions. So yeah, that's maybe not what you want in terms of privacy for the people. But I think it's also a good choice to have them exist next to each other. So people have a choice nowadays to use, for example, Bitcoin or Monero to choose the more decentralized way of digital currencies. And then no one can reverse the transactions. So people
true.
should have the freedom to choose between these options.
Yeah, so I think, in crypto, there's obviously a movement that I'm like really good at called decentralized finance. And I think the decentralization of finance is actually a really good thing. But I kind of, I agree with you guys. Like, I'm not going to get into my whole view on this. But I agree. So thank you for sharing. I think, let me just keep it short. I think that decentralization will be a really big part of the world. In the future, I think crypto can create communities that have their own internal economy that runs on maybe their own crypto token or coin. I think that can really change the world for the better as well, because right now you see that like in Russia, we are kind of dependent on their energy, gas, all that stuff. And then when something goes wrong or like Putin acts up, then actually the whole world is in disarray and blah, blah, blah. I think we can make the world a better place. Also places like Africa, where not everybody has access to a bank account. I can see a future where decentralized finance can actually help those areas. And it's kind of like a solution to the problem that capitalism has. I agree with you guys. So now I have a really interesting question for you guys. Artificial intelligence, okay? It's something that people are talking about. So robots joining our society and being able... I'm talking specifically about robots, actually, that can take over your job. So they took our jobs, And I am curious, Joel and Alex, because Joel, you are a crypto trader. You just look at data, and can an artificial intelligence robot do what you do? Can it replace you? Like, can it take over your job? Would you be necessary in a world? And would you succeed in a world? Would you succeed with what you do right now if you had to compete against a robot of artificial intelligence leverage traders?
Well, to answer your question, I think what I do is not really necessary in the world, so I could definitely be replaced and no one would bother. But to be fair, I think basically what you have here is the biggest supercomputer on Earth, probably. So I think the human brain is also really powerful. But yeah, I'm not sure about this actually. I do believe, of course, artificial intelligence is also very powerful. But I think the combination of the human brain and artificial intelligence, that's a really strong combination, because in the end, we don't fully understand the human brain yet, I guess.
Okay, so you think the combination is better?
Yeah.
But do you think artificial intelligence, like a bot, could do what you do? Could it be programmed to actually do what you do? The technical analysis, the leverage trading?
Probably if you're really good at programming and really understand what I do and the way that I think.
You will also keep learning, right?
Yeah, of course. You could program and the system could maybe learn to do what I do. But to be fair, I also find it quite hard sometimes to explain exactly what I do and what I see. Of course, at a certain level, I can do that. And I of course, for example, in the past, I tried to teach some of my friends what I do. So I showed them what I do. I said, this is exactly what I do. If you also do this, you will get the same results. And we both did it for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And the results were very different. So maybe since I'm not able to even explain fully what I do, I'm not sure if I can answer this question.
Okay, I feel you.
So I could not learn an AI system what I do, but if the system could learn it by itself, then of course, if it could learn what I do exactly, then it could do the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, I just was kind of wondering if you experience it as a threat or not. But I think you more experience it of something that can actually enhance society.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
So, Alex, how about you? Because you have a lot of networking going on and like very specific stuff that you have to do with your hands, like literally with the cameras and the creativity. What would your job look like in a world filled with artificial intelligence, and are you threatened by it, or do you think it's a good thing?
I don't know what the audience knows, but there is a lot of development in image and even video generation with AI. It's very big. I mean, Stable Diffusion, Mid-Journey, there are some image generators that you can freely use right now. And of course, those are currently not at a level that they can replace one of my full resolution photos, and definitely the video part still has a lot of work to be done. But when we're 2-3 decades ahead, I think almost anything can be generated with those AI generators when it comes to audio, also audio basically, but so audio, images, and video. So in that sense, yes, it is a threat. But I mean the same for advertising probably. I don't know. All these information-based things will eventually be replaced. I think the only one that is safe from AI in maybe 30 years or something is the plumber and the electrician. Really, those are the people that are safe. Everyone else is basically from artists to doctors to everybody is going to have trouble if they like their jobs. But I think that there is still a space for people who can work with those AI systems.
Yeah.
So, for example, when you right now when you want to have a good image from Mid-Journey or something, you can be really good at knowing what prompts to give it. So what kind of instructions basically to give it to get the right image. And I think that kind of stuff, the AI generation tools they'll become tools for people, and people have to learn to deal with those tools. So then it will be once again a combination, but you'll have to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So there are still opportunities, but I think less and less people will have full-time jobs. I do think that will be happening a lot less.
Yeah, maybe we will also have to work less.
That's an interesting point you bring up about the image generation tools with AI. I actually looked into that because I thought it was really cool and interesting.
Some of it as well.
But nowadays they are still in some way kind of flawed. That they, for example, they don't. Yeah, they have a bit of a stereotype problem. For example, if you want to create an image of something, you put Asian in there as well as a prompt, then it tends to generate pornographic-related images out of the blue because it basically associates the term Asian with pornography for some reason.
Yeah,
and
weird.
Oh, wow, weird is that? Yeah, so the systems are still, and I think I didn't look too deep into this, but I think AI nowadays is still not at the stage that it can replace many things yet.
No.
Not fully at all. Yeah.
No, not yet. I agree. Okay, so that was pretty interesting about artificial intelligence. I have another question. Do you ever regret becoming an entrepreneur? And do you ever feel like you are missing out on experiences because you are an entrepreneur? Like because you have to work so hard and you are a certain age, Do you have any regrets? And if so, what are they and, why? Yeah, I don't know who wants to talk first. You, Joel?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Sure.
Yeah, I can wholeheartedly say that I never regret it. Basically, I in the past couple of years, I also tried some stuff. I had to work with other people or work at a company on the side, but it's not my thing. I get bored kind of easily with doing the same tasks, and yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not. I did never regret being an entrepreneur. No, but it has been hard at times in the past because you have to.
Okay.
Work for yourself. You're also fully responsible yourself, and you cannot ask many people for help. So you have to live up to it.
Yeah, you were like one of the only persons doing that stuff, and not everybody can relate.
Yeah.
Sometimes people can't relate to what you do, At least that's my experience. And it can become a bit lonely, especially if you haven't proven yourself yet.
Yeah,
Right.
that can be frustrating at times, that people cannot really grasp what you're going through, or what you're
Yeah.
thinking or dealing with.
But then when you have the results, they're like, I knew it, man.
Yeah, it's
I knew you
also
could do
really
it.
satisfying, to be able to get by like this. Yeah.
Prove them wrong. And you, Alex, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, of course. Well, when I started out the first few years, I really had to. I didn't spend a lot of money, so I didn't go on trips, or barely, and I was very. What do you call it? Turning over every dime or something. I was so. It was. Yeah. But because I was working on getting my cash flows going, and that was tough.
Yeah.
And I did definitely have moments where I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to do this forever, being poor forever, basically. So yeah, of course, there were times where I was in doubt, but I still felt like I had to give myself the opportunity to at least try and do what I wanted to do. So when you just said, well, did you miss out on certain experiences and such? Yeah, I did. I definitely did. But I do think it was worth it at this time. But I was definitely at a moment where I switched from just doing animated videos to general online marketing, where I was like, if this doesn't work out within a year, then I'm probably just going to, do something else. But it did work out, So yay me. But there were definitely tough times where I was in doubt about my path, and I don't think that is very strange. I hear that from way more people who do this kind of thing. So yeah.
But you just jumped in, you went for it, and you were like, if it doesn't work, then I have the confidence I know I will get back on my feet, so I'm fine.
Yeah, you have to give yourself the opportunity to at least try for at least a couple of years.
Yeah.
And not just feel like, well, I'm probably not going to do it, so I'm just going to the safe route. If you feel like somewhere inside you really would like to have this kind of more free life, more independent life, then definitely give yourself at least a few years to just try it and give it your all, and just live on not that much money if you have to. Because in the big picture, it's not that much time. So it could very well be worth it. And even if it doesn't work out, you'll learn so much, because in that period, I just learned so much. And if I would have had to get a job somehow, then it still would have benefited me a lot to try. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, not to demotivate people, not at all actually, because I think everyone can reach their goals if they really want it, but you need a lot of discipline for this kind of to be an entrepreneur. You need a lot of discipline, because success and money doesn't come overnight, and that's sometimes what people think, because they see the moment it happens to success, they think, oh, they got success overnight, but very often this is like years and years in the making before the success. So you need a lot of discipline.
They see the Instagram highlight reel.
Yes.
Yeah, so this actually brings me to something that I feel like I have to teach a lot of people that I coach, because I do crypto coaching, but most of the time it's more like mindset coaching, Like, I feel like a lot of people have that problem, that they want to become a successful entrepreneur or a successful person in general, just happy and whatever. And they just try something like Forex or crypto, or starting their own business like Alex. And then they just fall into a deep pit of despair or something. There's just something wrong with the mindset, because they're just so scared. They're actually trembling, They're like, oh my God, should I quit my job? Like, I hate my job so much, Martin, can you please help me? And then I'm like, yo, just quit your job and try. And they're like, no, I can't. And then I'm like, yeah, okay, but then you can't try the entrepreneurship. You have to like jump in, take the cold plunge, just go for it. And it's all or nothing, actually. But you can always go back to that safe option. But for some reason, people think they can't or whatever. So I think there is a specific mindset that people have and need if you want to become successful in general. And it's kind of like not being self-defeatist, You want to love yourself. You need some self-love. You need some self-confidence. And you need some balls, some really big balls, and just go for it. okay? And there has to be some fire inside of you. There has to be something burning. And then a lot of people are stuck in trauma. And, you know, for example, if like Jimmy's over there and I'm like, Jimmy, what's your favorite movie? And he's like, you know, they just kind of hide away, you know? And I'm like, Jimmy, what's your favorite movie? And then they just run away. They just freaking run away. Some people just run away. Other people are like, you know, my favorite movie is this and this because it has this and this, and they're just more passionate about it. And you have to be a certain type of person to be an entrepreneur. But I think there's also a lot of mental damage blocking people from becoming who they actually want to be. I know this is a bit deep, but I think everybody knows inside of their own mind what their best version actually looks like. And if you just chase that version every day, if you every day you are a little bit more of that better, you know, the best version, it's somewhere in your head, that best version. And if every day you take action to become a little bit more like that best version, I think that's the mindset you need every day to become a successful entrepreneur. You have to remind yourself every day that that's the case. And you also kind of have to remember that you are going to die. So the whole memento mori thing, the stoic thing, because you can't just wait. Time is scarce. You have to go, and then you just have to, you need to want to become like that best version. That's my opinion. Now, I am really curious if you guys agree with me, if that is the best mindset. So what's the best mindset? Mindset-wise for life, but also for being an entrepreneur, for becoming successful at whatever you do, you know, and not becoming depressed, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this will also motivate the youngsters out there, because the thing is, what I also realized, and that's also what all three of us did, I guess, we started from a young age to pursue this kind of career for ourselves, and that really helps actually, because if the younger you are, the less responsibilities you have. If you wait for too long and choose a safe route, you get stuck in this kind of life with a lot of responsibilities, and then it gets harder and harder to pursue your own career, your own thing, because you have more responsibilities, so you have less freedom. And also what I think is that you should also accept failure, because if you go to school, for example, you also pay tuition. It also costs money to educate yourself. So if you pursue your own business, you also have to invest a lot of time and money and effort, and also accept that sometimes you can fail and you have to try again. And that's all money that you pay to learn in the process. But you should learn from what you experienced this journey, you know?
Get up after falling. Life's about getting up.
Yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. That's what they say.
Oh,
so you should
nice one.
use the failure, not see it as failure, but as a way of learning, you know?
Yeah,
you can't win all the time.
Reframing losing as learning.
Yes.
Yeah, that's strong. That's really strong.
And see why didn't it work, what I did there, and how can I turn this around to make it work the next time? And then you keep improving.
Nice one.
And then you get somewhere.
So an improvement mindset. I like that. Yeah. Okay, and starting young, that's actually true. I kind of forget that sometimes, but we are all pretty young. Yeah. Okay, Alex, what about you? What do you think is like the mindset that people need the most?
Well, first I wanted to react to something Joël said, because I definitely agree that starting young is smart. Whenever you have that feeling like, I want to do something like this, get after it. And I definitely would have wanted to start younger myself, actually, in hindsight. At the same time, don't let things with responsibilities and such slow you down. Use it as motivation. Two examples I have for that is two YouTubers, Roman Atwood and Casey Neistat, both people who had kids very young, like when they were early 20s, or even, I believe Casey Neistat had his first kid when he was 16. The guy, I believe even with his kid, moved to New York because he just wanted to do something with video, and he did some really crappy jobs, lived in a terribly small apartment, obviously, I mean, it was New York. And he just worked his ass off, and he did it with a kid. Being, I believe he was by himself, raising the kid. I'm not exactly sure how that worked out, but he got very successful because he just kept working, and he used having a kid in this case as a motivation. And Roman Atwood, same story, a guy who worked in a rope factory and didn't really earn much money at all, but he just kept working and working and working at his silly little videos in a time when being a YouTuber wasn't even a thing. And he had this kid, and he was divorced, and he just kept working at it, and eventually he made it happen. And both of them are wildly successful because they used their responsibilities, their family, as a motivation to work very, very hard. So I'm just saying that so
Nice
people don't use this, oh, well, I have responsibilities thing as a limitation, you know?
Yeah.
They don't have to, it can be your motivation.
That's
So-
a nice one. I like that.
So that's one thing. And the second, I really agreed with your memento mori thing. I very often think of when I'm on my deathbed, what will I think of not having done this or having done that? Because I think that will be the most honest moment you will have with yourself, that hour before you die or something. And and so I often try to consider that perspective when I make my choices. And that's also something that really motivated me when doing what I do now, because I thought, well, when I'm dying, how will I feel about not having tried this? And I thought, well, I will be very regretful about that, so I have to try this. Very
Yeah.
simple. So yeah, I think about those kind of things in many situations. About those, how will I feel about this when I'm in my last moments? So
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's really important as well. I think you have to reframe fear as enthusiasm. Because if you are fearful, let's say you want to talk to a girl on the street and you are fearful. Why are you fearful? Because it could be a life-changing moment. Could also not be. Doesn't matter. But that's where the fear comes from. So if you just walk on, nothing will happen. That's fine. But yeah, then there's also no need for the fear to be there. It's just like, yeah, whatever. But I think the fear is also like an indicator for, you can also reframe it like, ooh, something could happen here, And it could, if you reframe it into like this childlike enthusiasm, like, let's see, maybe this will fail, maybe this will succeed, and that kind of fuels me all the time.
You make it fun for yourself.
Yeah. So I think that's a good reframe right there. So yeah, mindset wise, I think that was a nice little talk we had. Good views. Appreciate that. I am curious, Joël, what is your definition of success?
I think you should define that, of course, for yourself.
Yeah.
You should set some goals for yourself, and those should be achievable. You should take it in steps, not say like overnight I need to be here. You going to say I want to maybe improve from something really simple. Keep your room nice and tidy, for example.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, is that a theory?
Yeah, it's something like the
it's
first
also
thing he
my
says,
theory.
like clean your room.
Okay,
Yeah.
seriously. Well, it should be in small steps because you shouldn't take the whole world on your back from one day to the other. And also, don't be too hard on yourself in this regard. But keep improving, of course. Stick up to it, and also, have a talk with yourself if you don't do the things you should do.
Yeah.
And what is success? Success is different for many people. I think.
What is it to you?
For me,
personally.
Yeah, personally, success, I feel that I have succeeded if I just feel satisfied with myself, with what I did in a day, for example. And that's also what I like from being an entrepreneur, for example, that I could, for example, some days work a lot, but really a lot, like also sleep a lot less than maybe I should do. But then 1 week later, I could maybe take 1 week off, basically, like do some things for myself to keep my mind clear, do some fun stuff, enjoy myself. And that's also what I like. So, and that's for me, success is really for me about being able to do what I want to do every day, basically.
Okay. That's a clear answer. Nice one. And how about you, Alex? What is your definition of success? Like your personal definition?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's always evolving, but I think one of the things we talked about today is that it feels very rich when you are with good people, and that's definitely something I consider to be a success when you have good people around you and you meet with them regularly and such. So that's very important, and I think being able to work on things you are passionate about is something that's very valuable. Making the money to be able to do that, I think you can relate to that very well, Martijn. And those are very important. But I think it's also simple things like being able to take care of the people around you, for example. That's also being successful, and not having to worry about your own finances is also being successful. Those are things that I care about a lot, you know. Even if it's something simple like being able to take my mother out for dinner or something, that's success for me, you know.
Kind of like harmony, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But also just being able to work on my photos and being able to
creative.
afford the gear to take great photos, you know. Something like that is also very important to me, so I can express myself creatively. So it's a lot of different things, and like I said, it's always evolving, but I hope this gives you a bit of an impression.
Nice. Yeah, I also have kind of like the same. So my definition of success is just you being comfortable in your own skin, feeling like you are on your purpose, like on your life path, that everything kind of feels congruent. There's no cognitive dissonance, you know. So my definition of success is that your thoughts, your actions, and your words are aligned, and like all the time, and you are in good energy, no self-destructive energy. And if you can do that with $500 a month, that's fine. Then you're successful in my eyes, you know. If you can be like that, if you need 5K for that per month, sure, go for it. But I think the goal is having like zero cognitive dissonance. So thoughts, actions, and words all aligned, and just being comfortable in your own skin, and then health, wealth, happiness, just being there and feeling good and actually exuding that energy and that vibe, and just being a being of love. I guess that's my definition of success.
I really like how you phrased that. That's
Thank you very
partly
much.
what I tried to say, but I couldn't say it like that.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you, man. Okay, so I have one last question. Imagine that okay, so there's nothing that you can do anymore in this world. Like all that you've done is burned and it's gone. All of your work is gone. All of your interviews are gone. Nobody knows who you are. You know, nothing. So the only thing you can do is you have a piece of paper and a pen, and you can leave one message. And that message is like all of your wisdom in like one life lesson. And that is your legacy. Like that is all. Or you have a piece of paper, a pen, and you can write down, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 life lessons. But that's about it. What would it be for you? What would you write down?
Difficult question. It's interesting. I'd say take care of the people around you. Basically being good to other people. And don't care too much about what other people think of you, and pursue your own dreams and goals.
Nice.
And live by that.
Nice. Alex.
Yeah, I'll have to admit that is a tough one, but
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. I think being kind to one another would be my primary message, but also letting each other be as free as you can would be the second part of that. So don't smother each other with kindness, but also be as kind as you can without being a bother, I guess. And I mean, Joël said the rest of it. Just try to live your best life, follow your dreams, your goals, stuff like that. I mean, it sounds so cliche to say it, but it's so important to just focus on that, be aware of yourself, and follow your heart, I guess. Yeah, simple as that.
Things are cliche for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what I did learn throughout the years, that I just want to add that it's also really cliche, but keep treating people like how you want to be treated yourself.
Nice
Because
one.
if you, make sure you're a likable person, then in the end, everything will flow back to you and people will also treat you nice as well. And you will have great people around you to support you. That's really important, I
Nice.
think.
Yes, so connection and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think mine would be remember where you came from, because you come from love. And if anywhere on this freaking planet you forgot about that, then you just have to remember where you came from. Because in my opinion, life's like a circle. Like, you came from love and then you come to earth and then you go back to love. It's just, I think love and connection is the most important thing. I think that is my life lesson. And then also treat yourself with the love that you would, if you have like a dream partner in mind, then treat yourself like how that dream partner would treat you, if you understand what I mean. So fix the relationship with yourself first. Love yourself first before you go and try to love another human being. Because if you don't do that, then usually there will just be a lot of pain in the relationships. And then my third lesson would be do a self-audit and see if there's any trauma hiding underneath that's just kind of, making your life a cycle. It's just like a little refrigerator hum in the back of your mind, and it just, like, years will go by with like this unsolved trauma. So yeah, I think all of that is just like, it kind of like, the trauma makes you forget that you came from love. So that's like my life lesson right there. Well, guys, I would like to thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Hey, and yeah, thanks for watching the first episode of the Lifestyle Academy podcast. Thank you very much, Alex. Thank you, Joel, as well. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this sort of stuff. And follow this podcast on Spotify, blah, blah, blah. See you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.